The metal market exhibited higher than usual volatility as inflation data in the US showed a decline for January, but still data came in above analysts' expectations. Metal prices struggled hours after the release, with gold dropping below the mark of $2,000 for the first time in 2 months. US stock indices pulled back, and all that after reaching first fresh all-time highs. Naturally, the US dollar outperformed its peers as the dollar index touched a fresh 3-month high. Crude oil continued to dwell on fears over potential escalation in the Middle East, trying to push towards the mark of $80. Middle East tensions will remain in investors' focus this week. Israel remains resolved in its attempt to eliminate Hamas, and to that purpose is planning an invasion of the city of Rafah. Rafah currently shelters more than 1.4 million Palestinians out of a total 2.3 million in Gaza. The international community condemned the potential action, while Egypt started building a wall at the border with Gaza. Midweek, the US Fed will release its minutes from the last meeting for more clues on interest rate policy going forward. Nvidia added around 13% in February as the markets continued to anticipate a positive earnings report for the fourth quarter of 2023. The report is expected to be released on February 21st, after the US stock markets close. Nvidia is expected to show a revenue figure of around $20 billion and net income of around $11 billion. Dropbox lost around 24% last week, testing its lowest price since November last year. The company that provides cloud storage worldwide reported better than expected earnings results for the fourth quarter of 2023. But the company disappointed investors regarding its forward guidance. Based on weaker than expected forward guidance, many banks downgraded the Dropbox stock, which led to a significant price decline last week. Crude oil price pushed up towards the mark of $80 as investors remained anxious over an escalating situation in the Middle East, a region rich in oil. Israel continued to reject US calls not to enter the city of Rafah and remained determined to eliminate Hamas in Gaza. Investors believe that Israel's invasion of Rafah near Egypt could spark renewed worries over potential oil supply disruptions as the Yemen's Houthis kept targeting commercial ships in the Red Sea. In addition to that, OPEC Plus is expected to meet again in early March to make a decision on its current oil production policy. Gold initially fell below $2,000 last week after data in the US showed higher than expected inflation for January, 3.1% versus 2.9% expected. Gold tested its lowest price in 2 months, but renewed geopolitical tensions, led by the Israel-Hamas conflict in Gaza, quickly helped gold to rebound and re-establish above the level of $2,000. Investors could turn toward gold as the precious metal is considered a refuge in times of distress. Natural gas has dropped to its lowest price since June 2020, below the mark of $2. Warmer than usual temperatures in the US and anticipated lower natural gas consumption kept prices on the downside. Moved by such low levels, some major natural gas producers in the US already said that they will reduce production activity in 2024. On the other hand, investors have been also waiting for the new season of storage refilling that usually starts in the March-April period, which normally provides a support to natural gas prices. Later this week on Thursday, the US government will report fresh weekly natural gas storage data. The USD JPY remained above the mark of 150 as stronger than expected inflation in the US provided a boost to the dollar. Higher inflation reduced market expectations for aggressive interest rate cuts in the US, which was enough for the US dollar to test its highest rate against the Japanese yen since November 2021. Investors will slowly but surely turn focus on the next big data releases, such as U.S. non-farm payrolls on March 8th and U.S. inflation on March 12th. The U.S. Federal Reserve will meet next on March 20th, while the Bank of Japan is expected to meet the day before.